Hi everyone, Jaffe here, and welcome back to Around the World in Many Days. Today's episode is number 25 and it's titled Ticking Off Boxes. We have another crossword for you guys. Let's read what Gladys says about this one. Dear Puzzling, this is a wise or wild crossword. That means any instances of the letter Y in the grid are to be treated as wildcards that do not need to match the corresponding letter in the checking answer. For answer check, omit the Y and write just the checking letter in the grid. Today I have ticked off another long-awaited box from my lengthy list of places to visit, and traveled to see the ruins of an ancient fortress high up in the mountains. Can you guess where I am? Love, Gladys. Okay, so we're looking for some kind of ancient fortress that's in the mountains. I'm going to scroll down to the list of clues now, and we can look at how this crossword works. So this is cryptic crossword. We have cryptic clues here, and the only extra rule is that anytime we have a Y here, let's say this answer has a Y at this in this cell. Y's can stand for another letter in the other direction. So this doesn't have to be a word with a Y here. It could be a word with a different letter here. So that's the extra rule, and otherwise standard cryptic clues. So let's dive in and look at number one across. The king given a Rolls Royce, perhaps. Now this should be pretty straightforward. The definition is Rolls Royce, perhaps. So what is a Rolls Royce an example of? That is an example of a car. And the wordplay is something is given A, the letter A is put inside CR, which is an abbreviation for the King, Charles Rex, CR. That's how that works. Let's use these starting letters then and go down. Citizen of EU country discontented, mounting pressure to take to the streets. Okay, so something is discontented. That's an indicator word. Discontented, to take out the content of the word country, take out the middle letters of the word country. That will give us CY, and there's a C here. And mounting pressure, that can be, mounting can be something is mounting another thing, something is, well, it can mean a couple of things. Mounting can be like climbing, it can be written backwards in a down clue, but mounting can also be just something is on top of another thing. Pressure can be P from physics, so that would give us CYP. And then we need a four-letter word for to take to the streets, to make a citizen of EU. And Cyprus is in the EU, and a citizen of Cyprus would be Cypriot. So we put riot for to take to the streets, and we get Cypriot, a citizen of Cyprus. And now we need to remember this Y here. Should I maybe mark the Y so that we don't forget? Is this good? Yeah, mark the Y's so that we remember that these are the wildcard letters, that they don't need to correspond with the checking answer. So this doesn't really help us. This could be any letter. So let's look at 11 across then, because there we have a starting letter here. 18 plus rating nixed from Radio X, one of Fox's picks. Now Fox, when written with this double X here, is going to be the actor Jamie Foxx. And one of his picks, one of his films, is three letters. And that film is called Ray. It's the biography of Ray Charles. And let's mark this Y, that we have a wildcard there as well. So Ray is the answer. And how does the wordplay work? So 18 plus rating is if a film is rated 18 plus, it's rated X. and we nix the X, we remove the X from radio X. Now, what is radio X here? That's referring to the international radio alphabet, so Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and so forth. And the letter for X is X-ray. If we remove the X from X-ray, we get ray. So let's see number 2 down then. So it's here. Images of him can be seen all over Egypt, topped with gold and spiritual energy. Now, someone whose image you might see in Egypt could be an Egyptian god, like gods of ancient Egypt. And one very useful one in crosswords is Ra, R-A. So that's going to be R-A here. And that is topped with, that is, has something above it. And what it has above it is gold. So gold in the periodic system, you might in the periodic table you might see AU for gold. Gold can also be OR, OR, which is the name for the gold color in heraldry. But here it's AU, and spiritual energy is aura, your aura. So now, should we look at 13? Let's look at these ones that have the starting letter. So 13 across. Tech companies info about adversaries. Now, this is 5 letters. About, obviously, very useful indicator word. Here it's not an indicator, but about can be backwards or it can be something surrounding another thing. But here it's this is actually just a double definition clue. So name of a tech company, 5 letters starting with I. That also means info about adversaries. And in the military, you might have info about adversaries. That's Intel. And Intel is a tech company. Then we can look at 17 across. Youth organization for Christian men and other people. Now, there's an very common abbreviation for Youth Organization for Christian Men, which is the YMCA. That doesn't start with a T, but remember Y is a wild card, so it could still fit here, but that's not the answer. But we could put Y there because of this extra rule. But other people doesn't. YMCA doesn't mean other people. So other people is, if you're talking about other people, you might refer to them as they. And the Y, the YMCA is sometimes abbreviated just the Y with a space here. So it's sort of a double definition, but different sort of spacing. Then let's look at these down clues. Here we have a H, and it's only 3 letters. So let's see that one. 16 down. Swiss knife peeled twofold letter. Now Swiss can be abbreviated CH. That's the abbreviation in car license plates, at least. So CH. And what's knife peeled twofold then? If you peel a word, the peel of a word is the first and last letter. If you remove the first and last letter and again remove the first and last letter, you would be getting rid of this K and E and then this N and F, and only leaving the central letter of the word knife. So if you peel it twofold, you're just left with this I. And Chi is a letter in the Greek alphabet. Now let's, and also we have a Y here. Let's mark that one as well, since we're marking the Y's in the grid. And let's look at this 10 down then. So we have T and an E, but this could be anything. So 10 down, let's see. club for introduction to polka, say. An introduction to something. An introduction, the introduction of a word is the first letter in that first letter in that word. So introduction to polka could be P. And then we need a word for say. In this case, we need a word for say. Obviously, say can mean something say. It might refer to, it might indicate taking a homophone of the previous part, or it could mean that the same as for example. So it might mean that like polka say, it could be dance or something like that. So it could be sort of meaning that this is just an example of the answer. But here we need a word that means say, and the answer will be a club. And to utter is to say. You utter words, you say them. And a putter is a club in golf. Now it's not sure how to mark this. I could use these smaller letters to mark the letters that can be that have two letters in them, like this Y. Or we could leave them as Ys and try to remember them. Maybe we'll leave them as Ys for now, and then look at in the finished grid what we need to do with them. So yeah. So this one we have two letters for, 19 across. So left-wingers in Congress in Riverside, California and Anaheim, California. Left-wingers, I think we had that in the previous crossword as well. We had right-wingers, so that could mean politically, as in the surface reading here. Surface reading here. Wow. But it can mean the leftmost letters of words. So left-wingers in. If we look at the leftmost letters in these words, we would have C, I, R, C, and either this A or this A. That spells out circa, which fits here. And circa, meaning like around or approximately, can be spelled like this, like abbreviated CA. So not just California, but circa, and that is going to be our answer here. Now I have the wrong mode here. So circa. And the and was, we went taking a letter from the and. It was just this, and then the final word. Now this ends in C, this long 3 down. I say long, but I mean these are just 8 letters. It's not, in a normal crossword it wouldn't count as a long answer, but here they are because these are sort of mini crosswords. Anyway, let's try to figure out this 3 down. Conair actor John almost has led production to an impasse. Now this is a unit here, and Conair obviously a film, and it has an actor John. Actually, a couple of options here. I think John Malkovich is in Conair, but John Cusack as well. And Cusack is going to be the relevant one here. So Cusack almost means you take almost all of the word, but leave out the last letter. So that would be CU, and then S, and this would be the A and C. And that word contains inside it lead production, a production of the letters of LED. So we put them in a different order. We anagram LED, and we get LDE in this case. And if we put an A here, that spells cul-de-sac, which is an impasse. Yeah, I'm thinking of maybe changing this because it bothers me that this is a Y now. Um, Change my mind and I'm going to mark them as 2 letters. Let's try that because it looks silly writing with just the Y here. So I'm going to put cul-de-sac. We can read this on this side and then they on this side. I think that's better. We're going to have to change it anyway because in the end we need this without the Y's. But I'm going to leave it at that. So this would be Y for the across and then U for the down answer. Yeah, sorry about that. I thought it would work with the Y, but yeah, it bothered me, so I changed it. 7, we don't know what this letter is, but we will know when we solve it. So 7 has a U here and here. Second and fourth letters are U. So let's see. 7 across. Retired British doctors behind the onset of incurable disease. Now, it's going to be, the definition is going to be disease here. Onset of uncurable, that's the first letter of the word uncurable, is here. So that's going to be this U here. Then doctors behind would be the last letter of the word doctor. So the end letter of doctor, and we would have an R here. And before both of those, we would have retired British. Now British, something is UK is another term for British, a UK person, a British person, right? So UK, that is retired, that is backwards, and we get KU here. And Kuru is a type of disease. So again, I'm going to mark this as K here and Y. Okay. Then we can look at, let's see, now we have the left half of the grid done, but we have some starting letters, this D and this C here. Let's start with this 3 across. Trainee started a cesarean section the wrong way. The wrong way, pretty clear indicator words, meaning backwards. Look at something backwards. So we would be looking at trainee as the definition here. Now a section of these words, yeah, I know Caesarean section is a thing, but here you have to look at this section and treat that as an indicator. So we take a section of these words and turn that backwards, and that's the answer. So CADET is a section of these words and backwards. So cadet is a trainee. And then let's look at this long one, 4 down. Short follower of the Church of England embraces Englishwoman. A follower of the Church of England would be an Anglican, and if that word is short, it is missing its last letter, so it's Anglica. And if we put that in the grid, I think we can see what the woman's name is going to be. So short follower of the Church of England is going to be these letters here. That embraces, that has inside it E for English. And we do all that, we get angelic, which is a woman's name. And now we have DE for this 12 across. Let's see. Doomed characters featured in tragedy in Greece. Now characters featured in, all of this can indicate very literally to take some of the characters inside those words. So a hidden word, section of these. And if we take 5 letters here, we get dying, which is doomed. Now that doesn't have an E here, but remember Y is still the wildcard character, so we can use it. So I G here, and then we put the Y here with the other letter. So it would be, I want to put this the right way around. So crosses are the first letter, so it will be Y and then E. Okay. So dying fit here with the wildcard character in the middle there. Then we have an N for this 8 across. Framed, uncolored, round piece is a type of painting. This is pretty similar to the couple of previous clues that we have. This is also a hidden word, and it's also backwards. So about here, sorry, not about, round. Round just means turn around. It just doesn't mean something is round. It means something is turned around. And a piece of these words turned around is a type of painting. And if we look inside again, we get nude, and nude paintings are a thing. So nude is a type of painting. So this gives us some useful letters now. So DU here at the start for fit 5 down. Lone Star State Tech Company stopped payments. Those are obligatory. So something stopped. Something is inside the other thing. It is interrupting the other thing, stopping the other thing. So we put a Lone Star State Tech Company. The Lone Star State is Texas, and we need a tech company from Texas with a short name. And one very useful one is Texas Instruments, which is TI. So that could fit here. TI is stopping a four-letter word for payments, and we get something that is obligatory. So dues would be payments, and duties are obligatory. So TI in dues. Now let's look at 14 across here, starting with E. Picked up composer's watch. Composer is a thing that could mean a bunch of names, like music composers, but it can also mean the person who made the crossword. So it could be I or me. Or composers could be my, for example, or I'm. All of those work grammatically. Picked up. If you pick up something, you hear it. That's one meaning of pick up. So if you hear a word meaning composer, in this case it's the word I, you get a word. So a homophone for the word I is I, to watch, EYE. So that gives us a wildcard letter here as well. So IEYE was a homophone for I, with just the letter I. And it was indicated by this picked up. Now, this doesn't help us for the 15, but we have a starting letter for this 18 across. So let's look at that first. Smart programmers have for decades used this old programming language, eschewing the predecessor of C. Now, that might seem like a lot of words for 4 letters. The predecessor of C, we're not talking about programming languages here. C is a programming language, but that's irrelevant here. Here we need the predecessor of C in the alphabet, so we need a B. So something is eschewing B. You remove B from a word for all of this. Programmers have, for decades, used this old programming language. So you have to come up with the name of an old programming language where you can remove the B from to make a 4-letter word meaning smart, and that word starts with a C. And the programming language would be COBOL, COBOL, remove the B, we get cool. So something is cool, it is smart. Okay, and well, this should be doable. 6 down. We have an E and a D here. State capital as previously known. Now this might require some knowledge, like geography knowledge here, which is, fair enough because this is a geography themed series in the first place. But state, this is a double definition. So one definition is state, and you might think, what on earth is this? It's a state, but it's not a US state. It's one of the states of Nigeria is Edo, and the other definition would be capital as previously known as Edo, and Edo was the previous name of Tokyo, which is the capital of Japan. So capital as previously known. Two definitions for Edo there. Now we can probably look at this one, this 9 down, because we have many letters for this. So empty inside, Eddie drinks large cocktail with great appetite. Empty inside. Well, inside, first of all, the inside of the word empty could be this MPT without the first and last letter. But empty inside can mean that this word is empty inside. So we take out the inside letters and leave just the E and the Y. Also, just the word empty can mean that. So this empty inside could indeed be just I and E for this emptying out this word inside. But here it's the word Eddie is empty inside, so it's E and Y. And that drinks, that takes inside it another thing. So E and the Y go here, first and last letter. And here we take a large cocktail. Now large is often L abbreviation, but here it's a cocktail of the letters in the word large. So we anagram the word large, and we get L A R G E. And we put them in the right order, we get eagerly, which means with great appetite. And we need to remember to mark this as a wildcard cell as well. So this doesn't really help us with 20, but we have a letter for 15. So let's look at 15 down. Maybe men's mustaches starting to appear in an ominous manner. Mustache is starting. The starting letter of the word mustaches is M. And so that's going to be the last letter here. We need a 3-letter word for maybe men's, ends in O here, and we put an M after it to make a word meaning to appear in an ominous manner. And if something looms, it appears in an ominous manner. So loom is going to be the answer. And men's is an example of a loo, a toilet, might be men's. So L-O-O. And loom is then the answer. So let's see. Y is the across, and then L is the down letter here. All right, we have one clue left, so let's see. Gladys is against power and force of evil. Now, much like we had composer here, meaning I or me, or things like that. Gladys is the name that's signed here, so that can also be I. And I like using it. We've seen it a couple of times. So Gladys could be my, or it could be I'm. But here it's I'm with this M here. And that is against, let's correct that. The I was too small. I noticed it immediately. So I'm is against, it is directly next to something standing for power, and power can be abbreviated P in physics. And an imp is a force of evil. So here we would have P and then Y. Okay, so we have filled the crossword. I don't think it was too tricky this time, even though we had a sort of extra rule. And we can actually look back up in the description. It said that for answer check, if you want to see it verify that you indeed have the correct answers, you need to omit the Y and just write the checking letter. So let's just remove all the Y's here now. So this would be just K, just U, and this should tell us that we are correct. So that is the correct grid. And now conveniently, we also have these cells where the wildcards appeared. We have them already highlighted here. And they spell out our destination, which was the what were we looking for? We were looking for an ancient fortress high up in the mountains. So this spells out Kuelap, Kuelap. Let's look at where that is. Kuelap, with a little accent mark there, is a walled settlement in Peru. I have a picture of it here. And ancient from the 6th century, and that is high up in the Andes. So that is Gladys's current destination, Kuelap in Peru. And let's look at the map as well. So we were in Bolivia last time, Chacaltaya. And now we are zooming out. We are in Peru, here northern Peru, Kuelap. And yeah, let's zoom out a little bit more and we can see the actual entire trip so far. So still far from finishing the around the world trip. We have all of this stuff to cover. But yeah, I promised in an earlier video to explain why these are such long stretches here. So we came from Lisbon to Sao Paulo. Well, we're crossing the Atlantic. That's big anyway. But we've covered South America pretty quickly. And I can already reveal that this is the last South American destination. And the reason why is we've spent quite a lot of time in Africa and in Europe, but not so much in South America. And the reason why is because the previous Gladys series that I made, which is not on YouTube, but you can find it on PSE if you're interested. That was the entirety of South America. So I did a lot of these South American themed puzzles for that series. So that's why we're going through South America a bit, maybe a bit faster than all the other places in the world this time. And indeed, in that series, now I don't think this spoils too much, but in that series there were some places mentioned that Gladys would like to visit in the future, and those places were actually these. So that was Sao Paulo, Ushuaia, Chacaltaya, and Kuelap were the places that were mentioned as sort of Gladys's places that she didn't get to visit this time, but might in the future. And now we have covered those all. And that's why this one was called Ticking Off Boxes. So I hope that made sense. And this was episode 25, and I have to look up what episode 26 is going to be. So that's protected schooling. And I've forgotten what type of puzzle that was. What we have coming up in the next couple rounds is one shaka shaka, which is like painting areas in the grid. And then we have, actually that might be, I think the next one might be the Shaka Shaka. Let me just quickly look at that. Yeah, that's the one. So Shaka Shaka is coming up next, and that will be called protected schooling. So that is all for episode 21, 25, and I will see you for the next one. Thanks for watching.